Oh, Lord, tired. Mm. I'll give folks a few more minutes on the grade. If it's not, if it's just me and you, that's fine. I'm okay with teaching whoever's here. Um, and then what we'll do is I'm gonna like to drop gems for people who attend. Hang on a second. We're gonna look for some trades for next week, by the way. And also, I'm gonna show you how to look for trades using what Wintergreen. What do you have Weevil by chance? Come on, come on. All right, well, I'm waiting on that to load. So basically, so let's look at the previous week, right? So look from a long-term standpoint, right? We'll go a week out. I was looking at this. Looks like basically we're running it like from this previous week uh low here, or not previous week, but the last, low to high. We're starting to come into basically the 0.382 level. So I'm expecting us to hit this 6,005 level, 6,004. Either bounce from it or we could come all the way drop down to 5960, which is your 50% level here. And so what I'll do is I'll just mark this area on my mark this box here and yeah, go from there. So for SPX, that's what I'm looking at. Potential area to for confluence, right? For us to drop down here and then push back up. Uh Potentially push back up, or we can drop down because if we go to a smaller time frame, right? It could even drop all the way down into this area here because we have some gaps down there that have not been filled. So, but last time we came into this area, right? We so I'm gonna mark out this uh 50% of this wick, right? And see if we come into it. Because 50% of wicks can be very important. So here's where I'm looking for us to bounce into and then see what we get in Q. Or we'll just look at the Qs just if you want to trade options. All right, we'll go to a week time frame. Didn't quite take out the low either. So do the same thing. Drop this 0.5 here. And so there, boom, here. 0.5, go to a small time frame. So we don't really have any gaps right here that haven't been filled. So our next gap would be down in this area. So I actually will mark out here to 786. There we go. What is the damn? We're gonna look for some trades based off of inside weeks, inside days, inside weeks. So we'll go inside week first. And the reason why I'm gonna show you what I look for. Okay, we can actually do inside week. Okay, cool. Um, all right. So put this down here. So let's go ahead and start from a weekly aspect. Let's look at a few of these. All right, ABNB, pretty good one. All right, and so potentially fall into this area here, 0.5, 0.618, or this 0.776. All right, and then if we fib from here to here, right, get a, let me move this one out the way. Basically a 0.5 in this area. So yeah, so I'm assuming this will drop down here by the end of the week, potentially. All right, so A, B, and B. I'm gonna write this down. So A, B, and B, A, B, N, B. Sorry. PT looking at 137 for their feet. Let's look at Adobe. This wasn't an inside week. Why they have it as that? AMAT. I don't like AMAT as an inside week only because of the fact. Oh, actually, we could do it going back to the upside. So AMAT fell in this area. Let's see what it looks like coming back up. This could be a potential gap and go in which we fall. We look for this area to get filled. See, looking at 184 for AMAT, and that's going to the upside. And I'm probably going to take a lot of these trades. So I haven't traded options in a minute. So, or I haven't really, I trade options, but I don't trade it as often as everybody else does. I've been trading futures a lot. So I'm going to put a focus on Cisco. It's not inside week. CLF. Oh, I don't really trade that. CBS. Oh, okay. CBS is a good one. All right. So here, got inside print. And what I'm looking for is for us to come down into at least this 58.26, potentially. So CVS, PT, uh, no, what was that, 58? And then the next one would be 55. That's coming down. So we'll mark out this level here. And then we will mark out this as our first big level, 0.382. All right, cool. All right, we got that. And then I'm going to let's look at Ford. I'm not really a Ford trader, but it's been down. I would have really wished this would have been oh, well, this works. So, Ford is one of the ones I used to trade back in the day because it was cheap, right? And so if we push up, my first line would be here, and then here, and then here we go. And see, for Ford, I would go like a month out. Before you got, unless you want to do a small trade for 9.67, 10.02, and then your next one would be 10.31. All right, but this is only if we get like a gap and go, right? And so the same with the other ones, right? So A, B, and B on a weekly time frame. If we gap down and keep going, that's how I basically would do it. What's next on my list? I don't really trade GME, but we can look at it. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. That's more momentum for people. Let's look at Marvel. It's inside week, but not inside print to like what I'm looking for. And Netflix. Inside week, but not inside print. Um, let's go Roku. Mm, nope, still didn't. Upstart. Nope, that's not what. XOM. Nope. Oh yeah, XOM will work. So, all right. It's because we open inside of this candle, and even though we close above here, that's still fine. So XOM, I'll be looking for 113. Right. That'll be your first one. So XOM 113 and then 115. Here we go. All right. All right, that's everything for inside week. Let's go to inside day. See what we got. Oh, we don't have too much on the inside day. Let's go to Moderna. Well, like Moderna if it happened down here. Right. So I hear inside. Where's a good example of something? What's going on, OG? I'm just going through trades. Not many people in here, but I'm still going to do this so people can watch. So what I'm looking for is basically anything that kind of did this type of move, right? Uh, say if we're at the bottom, and I'm looking for a something. So say if this was a red candle, right? I'm looking for the next candle to open inside of this candle, right? And even if it might have a wick on it too, right? It may have a wick on it. I don't really care if it has a wick on it or not. But it opens inside of this candle and closes inside of this candle. And we're at the bottom, right? That's what I'm looking for. This is for I'm looking if I'm looking for longs. And then for what I'm doing for the next for the next trade or to enter into the trade, you want to enter when this gap's up, right? So as soon as the gap's up, you enter with your stop slightly below here, right? And you go about a month out on your contracts, especially if you're on a daily time frame. And so it's pretty much the inside print gap and go, right? So and then on the top, on the opposite side, right? And this would probably be this doesn't matter what candle color it is, it can be neutral, right? We'll just go neutral color. And of course, this one would be green. And so on the flip side, if I'm looking for shorts, right, I'm looking for this type of situation, right? And it could have a candle. It could have a wick on the top, right? That part doesn't really matter to me. It's nice if it does have it, because basically it wicked out these people. Yeah, I got you. Uh, and then you want your red candle too. So this would be for longs. This would be for shorts. All right. So inside print, gap down, go. Inside print, gap up, go. So that's kind of what I'm. That's kind of the type of trades I'm looking for. So so far, what we have is uh, and so far we have on a weekly time frame, we got Airbnb, which I'm looking for it to come in this area here. So my PTs would be anywhere from 144 or one pretty much 140 down to one about 137. 137 is my real target here. And then for AMAT, that's going down. For AMAT, it would be going up, right? So it would be inside print, gap up and go, right? And so for AMAT, my targets would be uh that I marked them on here. But my target would be oh, it would be in this area here. So looking at about 184 for your first target. If and we're taking this on like a monthly, 2 month time frame, y'all, to give it time when we're looking at week stuff. The weekly time frame. So CVS is our next one with our PT at 58.31. First one in your next week at 55.38 for us to come down if we gap down and go. Right. Then our next one for this is for small accounts, right? So for small accounts, we got our inside print. We wick below. We're at a low. So my first PT would be 9.67, second one 10.04, and then we start making our way into the zero point 0.5 area of this drop down here. And then for XOM, so XOM, all right, XOM was still in the weekly, yeah, because we inside print, we've wicked all here. Go daily for, yeah, we did weekly for this one. Again, couple, do a month or so, a month or two out on your contract and find the ones with the most volume that makes sense to you in your bank account. And then that's where, that's where we go. All right. All right. Going back to the daily. So we looked at Moderna. Don't really. Moderna would be actually a decent one, even though I'd rather it had been up here. But what I do like is that if I look from a fib standpoint, we just bounce off the point 0.5. So we can go fill this gap here for Moderna. And so you're looking at 35, 39. You can do this on a weekly contract, 2 week contracts for here. So BD, if you're talking cool. If you're not, I'm gonna mute you real quick. Just let me know if I need to take you off. All right, so Moderna I'm looking at for up, and then my price target would actually be this 38.80 level. And this is you could take this on a weekly or 2 week contract. So the other ones, remember the other ones that we went through, and if you rewatch, you'll notice that those would be your monthly or 2 month contracts or further, whatever you like. Yeah. Weekly fib. Sheesh. I'm gonna go. I'll go monthly on this one. And the reason why is because if this starts moving on up, they just need basically one sick event. And if they have one, we have one sick event, this could explode. Kind of like it, there and here, right? So yeah, I think this was COVID. This was something else, a return of COVID, I think. But yeah, sheesh, yeah, you're a bad man. I got you. So yeah, so from a monthly standpoint, 63.48, but we have to start knocking out all these shorts here. From a weekly standpoint, um, I still like from a weekly standpoint, it could definitely get to your all the way up here, but I would go for that $38 standpoint. Then you also have your doji hammer at the bottom. So that's a reversal sign, right? Every time that we had a spinning top here, so every time you have a reversal at the bottom. Uh yeah. Yeah, I got you. Uh and so yeah, my first target would be this at least 37.20, but all the way to I like 39.08 to be honest with you in this gap fill, which runs perfect here. So I just would do 2 weeks, maybe a month out on the contract at least, right? So let's look at roadblocks. I did not like roadblocks. WBA, nope. XOM. We already did XOM on the weekly. Now the issue with XOM is that although on the weekly it looks like it go up on the daily, it does not because we had this inside print. So what could possibly happen is we do one of these moves where we come down here and let me move this out the way. We come down here. Or definitely we got down, come down here, hit this .5 level, and then we go up. So I would take the better entry would be down in this area here, anywhere between 105 or 108 to 109. That's where I would take it for XOM if you want to take longs for the week or for the for a monthly time frame. Let me mark that out. All right, so let's go to a inside 4 hour. Go look at Apple on the 4 hour time frame. See, I would rather this had been in here, and then if we gap down and go, taking all these out. Like this is a perfect example right here, right? Uh, of what I'm actually looking for. Let's look at Baba. Yeah, Baba look like it's on a mission. I don't really trade FDX, but this might be a good one to look at. Nope, didn't get inside of here. Nope, that one on. Nope. Yes. Nope. All right. Keep on going. It's very specific because these are very like the type of trade I'm looking for are explosive trades. All right, here we go. On 1 hour. Ooh, got quite a bit of things on the 1 hour. Uh, AMD. Nope. All right. So here's one. We basically open above inside this candle here, right? So then Although we do have this gap down here to fill, which we could. Let me see where it's at. So we could potentially come back and fill this gap, potentially. This is for Tesla, right? Uh, but I like this reversal here for us to come back up into the range for Tesla, right? And kind of get back in this 350 area. So Tesla will be on my list to look for next week for longs. Let's look at Uber. Ah, Uber's not bad. Damn, I wish it would have. Uber's not bad. Tell you why. It's because did we go a discount yet? No, we didn't. All right. So for Uber, I want them to come here in this area first, and then we go up. So I'm gonna leave Uber alone right now. Let's look at uh, uh ooh. So yeah, I think and even Surgery was talking about this last week was that now we retraced pretty big here, but if we look at this bigger retracement here, right? So I'm gonna move the smaller one out the way. All right. So here, right, we're at this point, we're in discount, right? So last time we were in discount, what happened, y'all? So if we look at this here, this is kind of an easy way to look at things. Every time we came in this little area, what happened? Shot up, shot up, shot up. Now, if we fall below, right, we can start, closing out these shorts, and then you can have a more, you can have a more drastic drop, right? But until we close these people out here, right, and if these people stay strong, who bought in here, then we could pop back up, which wouldn't be bad, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because now the contracts on shorts, right, or puts are more expensive than they were up here. So what do we want to do, right? We want to get discount, right? So if we mark out from here to here, I'm going to want to go back into the range and then come back down, which would give us a good boom, boom. And even if it doesn't go that far, no, I would want it to go zero point 0.5 at least into discount. Make your contracts cheaper for a month out, and then come back down. And then let's look at SPX real quick. Uh, so this is for if we continue to fall right from this area, we to come up. But if we before we fall again, I want to see if we come back into the range next week. So if we come back into the range first instead of falling first, right? This is where uh 33 was talking about that 670 to 680 range, which will put us right at the 50%, right into discount. Because right now we're in premium of this range here, right? So you could even do this, right? And so this is what I like to do is if I've got here, I'll put me a box here. And yeah. And so then I'll remove my bib. So two things can happen, of course. We come into this area here, into this discount area, then we pop up. We come into this discount area here, and we continue down. We got a lot of gaps here, as you can see. All right. So, um, next thing. Okay. What I want to talk about. So let's look at. I think that's pretty much everything. Anybody want to look at? Anybody got any tickers they want to look at before I jump on to a little something that y'all can use to help you guys in determining direction for the day for stocks?
You take a peek at coin,
Yeah,
things gotten pummeled.
I think I
So
already.
MSTR and coin, I think MSTR's got a gap right below, and then coin, I know it's broke a huge support level for me.
Okay, yeah, already. I mapped it out for you already. So all right, so um, we just broke past this 0.618 level. I feel like they come down here and get in this gap here, which would be perfect because then this is like my little other box area that I look for reversals in, or it's 0.78786 to 886 level. That's like my next box level. So that's actually perfect for us to come fill into this gap. Let me see. Monthly. Yeah. Yeah. Let me look at it from a further standpoint. Y'all are in shorts, right? 33. Yeah. So yeah.
For coin,
Yeah.
we didn't swing shorts. We just traded those zeros. They went.
Yeah. I killed the zeros. Yeah.
Oh
Gotcha.
yeah, it was probably. I think that was the best trade I took in over a year. Actually, it went. No, actually, it wasn't. Personally, it wasn't. I hit 2,500% on my runners, and then, but the actual trade went 9,000% from the alert.
Yeah, I think that might have been one of the best trades on a 0 day on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yep. Neek almost caught the entire move.
Jesus.
So I
Yeah,
so like I stopped out. Yeah, like right around 2,500 to 3,000%, and then Neek didn't get stopped out. He had his stops a little looser than mine, and I think he captured almost like 4 to 5,000% on it, and then it ended up flushing. So they went from $18, so 0.18 from the alert, and they closed at 1,500 a contract. 15 contract.
Jesus.
It's fucking crazy, bro. Just think if you load think about this. You load 1,500 bucks, so it's 100 contracts, right? And
Mhm.
you scale out half at 200%, right? And then the other 50.
Was there a 1,500 contract? Jesus. That's look. That's a down payment on a house for some people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Good stuff. Dang, it didn't even look to come back. And that's the thing. Like, if you guys are having like, if you guys get good positions, is of course, 33 knows this, but just if you guys get good entries, right? Like, and if you go to a higher time frame, you'll notice on a trending day, you do not have to get out because it will never go past the previous hour. Like, it may go to like 50% of it, but typically it won't go past that if it's a good trending day. Like, you'll notice, right? Maybe towards the end of the day where people start taking profit, but on a good trending day, you won't see it. That hourly, the previous hour will protect the highs and the low. Will protect the highs if we're shorting, or the lows if we're long. Like, perfect example here, right? That's kind of what I think it happened with SPX. I think on Friday, right? I think the only one that, yeah, even here, right, we never touched the highs, right? Just trail it. The mental stop. Definitely, if you get a good position, right, you're going to see a little fluctuation. You're going to see up and down in your P&L, right? But you're not going to necessarily see if we don't take out that, take profit, of course. But if we don't take out that previous high and we're dropping like this, hold your position. At least let it run and stay in there, right? Like everything dropped. Apple was holding, yeah. All right. So next thing I want to tell you guys is, or show you guys, is that when you guys are, if you have Weeble, right, and um, you are um, looking at Weeble, you can either do it on a 5 minute or a 15 minute, right? Look at your 805 candle. Typically, I do it on a 5 minute. Mark out your 805 candle, highs and lows, right? And typically, what you'll see is that high and low will be basically your support and resistance for the day, especially if we're trending. But even if we're not trending, a lot of times you'll see it. It's like almost like a liquidity candle, right? So 805, right? And it doesn't show every day, right? But when it shows, it's very, very helpful, right? And typically, what I used to do when I traded this is I would wait till a 5 minute candle close, right? And I would basically take in a direction, right? And I'm looking for anywhere between depending on how the stock moves, right? It's only on your big stocks, Mag 7 type of thing, right? And I would look for $1 to $2 move in that direction. So we close on the 5 minute above here, right? Now you could have, and now there's two ways you can enter here, or you can wait for a pullback. That's on you, right? And I usually put my stop, and I do a mental stop of, you know, underneath the low of that liquidity candle, right? Now, yes, you can go in a little bit of drawdown. You can go, your contracts can go a little lower than what you want as far as if you're doing 20% stop. But when I use this, I kind of size for zero, right? And I use the same position size each time, right? And so I'm looking for anywhere between a $2 to $3 move on most stocks, right? And so if we go down here, AMD, right? So here, right, we closed above, right? You could have made a few dollars here, cut, right? And then here, when it fell down below, we fell down. And now you also can use this in regards to like when you're looking at SPX and you're looking at NQ, right? Take it in the direction that those go in. So if we look at, so they were all coming down. So I wouldn't even waste my time trying to take the ones going above. I would just wait until it falls back down because the market typically, when we're going in the same direction, that everything will go in that same direction. So if you see Amazon, right? And this is something that, you'll see 805 candle, we fell down, right? 805 candle, drop below, fall down, right? 805 candle, right? So Amazon's pretty much been holding steady to it. Now, this one didn't show a good print, right? We'll leave this alone. So I'm looking for a substantial size print that kind of gives me the high and low to work off of, right? Go to Google, right? Same thing. 805, right? 805, right? IWM, 805, right? You can kind of go through. And now some days you might have it where it's kind of doesn't really give you a great day, which is why I use the same position size each time. Because if I take a loss, right, my loss is the same size loss, right? It's the same size. So if I have, so say for instance, uh, what am I looking for? So say for instance, and this is the data that's back behind it, right? And it's several years old. So say if I know Tesla, for instance, has a normal.
ARS.
Yep.
You don't have the Weeble up, right? Because I'm like looking at your chart, it's not moving really. So I don't know if it's me.
No, no, that's me. I'm glad you said
Oh,
that.
okay. I thought. Okay, so it's not up.
Yeah,
I just see Apple.
let me jump on and change it. It should.
Yeah. Well, I see. Yeah, well, it says Apple.
Here we go.
So you're talking about Weeble. I thought you were going through Weeble. I'm like, what the hell is?
Yeah,
All
I was. All right, here we go. All right, can y'all
right,
see it
thank you.
now?
Thank you.
All right, perfect. So what you're okay, so we'll go back, right? So if you look at your 805 print, right, you'll notice that it gives you, if there's a big candle print, that's like a liquidity print basically at 805 that happens. And you'll see it on a lot of Mag 7 stocks. And what I used to, and I got the data behind to show, but basically it kind of gives you almost like a 70 to 80% like idea of where price is going to go, at least for for at least a $2 to $3 move, right? So I typically, when I would trade this, because like I used the account to trade it, and so I would use the same position size, whether it's 200, 500,000, whatever. It's up to your bank size, right? Your account size. And I'll take the same position every single day, right? So if I know that I have a 90% chance of doing something, right, I'm okay with losing once, losing twice, right? Because 90% of the time it's going to go back in my, back in my favor, right? And so if you look, right, if you see this 805 candle, kind of gives you an idea, right, of where your high and low, where your support, your resistance and support is for the day, right? And so you'll see Amazon. So Amazon's been doing pretty good, right, the last couple of days. Now, if you don't get a good, a good print, you don't trade it. You just leave it alone, right? But typically, you'll see a good print at the 805. So it looked like it started and kind of stopped, right? So then I'll move. So you look at IWM, right? Gives you a print. Now sometimes you have situations where it's inside of it, right? And you don't take a trade, right? You leave it alone. You're waiting for a close above it or close below it on a 5 minute candle, right? And so you got your meta, right? 5 minute candle, right? Boom. Get rid of all these drawings. Right here, popped above it, right? And then we close below, take it down, right? And so typically what you want to kind of do is you kind of want to look at what SPY and QQQ are doing, because those are what's leading the market, right? Those are what's, the other ones lead the market, right? But those are what's kind of going to decide the direction of the market as a whole. So, there's days that Meta may do something a little different than SPY. So you want to take it in the direction that SPY and QQQ are going, because then that kind of helps with helps with the move, right? So Tesla is one of the better ones, to be honest with you. So Tesla, I think 91, almost 92% of the time, once it picks its direction, right, it goes in that direction 92% of the time, at least $3.95 to 3.25. So I'll say on average about $3.60 in that, in whatever direction that it closes above or below this 5 minute break. So that's why when I was talking to KW, right, and KW kind of follows it a little bit. Tesla on Fridays is like one of the best, to be honest with you. But in general, it is the best performing one when you're using this 805 print. And so what'll happen, you'll notice that they'll kind of stop doing it for a couple days, right? And you just don't trade the system, right? But then you'll notice after a while, right, it'll come back and give it to you. It looks like it's been a minute on this one. We got 805, Now the other thing that you can do is you can look at a 15 minute, right, and see if it gives you that same, because sometimes they do, right? That's 830 candle. Let's see. Yeah, so the 815, but I typically would do it on the data I have is backed on 805, just FYI. So That's just like a little, on Fridays, that's typically like, with definitely with 0 days and you get it across the board, right? I use that as my supply and resistance to get into trades, and then it kind of gives you a like an early indication of where it's going to go. You got 0 days, so you can make a lot of money really, really quick, right? And be out, be done, quick 100, 200%, definitely on a Friday, right? So uh, I typically do it using my favorite ones are Microsoft, Tesla, and Meta, and of course those are the ones that do the best, right? And so your other ones like Apple doesn't perform as good, Amazon doesn't perform as good, Google doesn't perform as good, but your Microsoft, Tesla, and Meta, and they also move the most, right? $6, 350, uh, Tesla almost, you know what,
Hey,
uh,
hey, Artis.
yep,
Hey, does that work on the index as well?
yeah. So here if you see right, I gathered it basically on the Magnum, the big stock. So it's about 81% on SPY and QQQ. So if you go here, right, and go your 5 minute, and you look at SPY, right, you'll see 805 candle here, right.
So it's
Now
kind of
the
like
issue,
it's
go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. It's kind of like they're showing their hand beforehand. It's kind of like a telltale.
Basically, yeah, basically. And so what happened was with like in I don't really talk too much about them because I don't really know them. But there's somebody in a previous Discord that kind of led me onto it. I just went and did the data on it, right? And so it kind of just gives you an idea where your not your high low of the day is going to be, but more so like where your liquid, like where if we fall below, then use it as your supply and resistance, and it just take it towards that direction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's an awesome. That's awesome, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
putting
So
that out there.
yeah, no problem. So it's a very easy, right? It's a very easy type of strategy. And the thing about it is because it's statistics, and I tell people this, when you're trading with statistics, it's very important that you do it for a certain amount of time so that you are like the data can back you, right? So say for instance you start Monday, right? And if we've just done 10 days in a row in which it went the right way, then the next 2 days it just happens to go. Well, that may be the 20% that doesn't go your way, right? And so then you might get discouraged and like, oh, this isn't working. The thing about it is you have to do it, you have to use the same position size, you have to target the same kind of dollar amount, which typically is about on average, on the better performing ones, it's about $3 to $4. But we all know how much. If you look at the average true range or average daily range of some of these stocks, you'll see okay $4, $5, and that's what you can target, right? Um, and so but it kind of gives if you use the same position size, that means that if something says 90%, I would have to lose. It'll have to go on a terrible streak for it not to work, right? So just make sure you're using the same position size, whether that's 200 a trade, 400 a trade, 500 a trade, or $100 a trade, because you want to size it for zero, right? And be okay with the loss because it can run off 8 to 9 days, or I'll say 7 to 8 days of you winning in a row. You just have to get past if you happen to jump in on the day that it loses that day. Does that make sense? Hope I didn't confuse anybody. So I'll just give you a perfect example. Say, all right, these last 4 days, right? We're winning trades based off of if you followed it, right? So if you start this tomorrow, right? And QQQ is supposed to have an 80% chance of at least moving $2 to $3, right, in the direction that it closes above or below. If 80% of the time it's supposed to work, if you start Monday and then we have 2 days back to back that we lose, understand that's just the 20% that loses, right? Understand that at some point it recorrects itself and you get back into the streak of it working again, right? So you want to use the same position size every single time. but I typically, like I said, Wintergreen, I do this on Fridays because typically on Fridays they show their hand a lot, and it's 0 day or like for pretty much all 0 days for everything, right? That's expiring that week. And so you can make quick money really, really quick, right? And so if you look at even if we looked at coin, right? If you had marked out you got your 805 candle, right? Even if you were late to the party, right? You still would have taken advantage of almost 18-point drop, right? Let's see if it showed his hand some other days. So yeah, here, right? Took advantage of a 10-point drop, right? 805 candle. Not a very big one, but still dropped below, fell down, right? So now
So
you can either hold to the end of the day, or you can, take your money at basically what the daily range is for that stock.
wait, but quick question: Was
Yep.
was that drop on coin related to just pure TA, or was it that hack apparently that it was something like $1 billion? I forgot how much it was. It
I
got stolen from one of the exchanges.
I have no idea. I don't really get too much in the nuances of why things do what they do, right? It just if they did, shit, I hope everybody was able to benefit in the room. You know what I mean? But I didn't read too much on it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
no, no.
didn't.
Like my whole thing was that drop like based pretty much on the on that hack, or just pure TA, or was it going like a certain direction, or was it just or was it just gonna fall because of the TA?
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things that like they use news to make things go wherever they want it to go, right? So if the powers that be that are invested in coin, right, want it to drop lower, right, then they can potentially do that, and they can throw some news out there to give you a reason why it fell, right? But meanwhile, they're just dropping it so they can, reposition or jump back in for the next leg up, right? So yeah. So like I said, it could have, but I always look at things as when it drops like that, when it's a decent stock, it's really for the big boys to reposition or get back in, or
Yeah, yeah,
protect.
exactly.
So because it even may have I think I wonder if Vince did schematics on it, but it may be following, Wyckoff, right? Wyckoff. And so they just use news to drop it where they need to drop it to when they want to drop it, and then they just move on, reposition, get back in for the next leg up.
Yeah, I think they absolutely had it where it was gonna fall. I mean, it just looked like it. I guess that's why it sells. That's why 33 saw it. He was like, shit.
But it's always good to follow news, right? Like,
Mhm.
to be honest with you, definitely when you're like, trade options, it's always good because you can kind of, you can ride that wave, and then and benefit from it. So
Yeah, it's a great call. Yeah,
yeah, no, it was a wonderful, wonderful trade. Like
yeah.
we,
Unfortunately, I missed it. Fuck.
it's all good. There'll be 1,000 more. OG, you've been in here since the beginning, man. You know how it go. There'll be 1,000 more.
Yeah, no doubt.
So when it's trades like that, and I tell people just, throw in a little small change if you have it, and then just let it ride. You know what I mean? And just definitely, I think what they popped in, he threw an alert out when they were $15 a piece. Shit, how many times we waste $15 on something? Shit, throw it on there and just and call it a day. You know what I mean? You look at it periodically every hour if you want, or if you don't, just see if it closes in the money and call it a day. Right? It's almost like and I don't want to call it a lotto ticket because I'm sure 33 did his due diligence, right? So I don't want discount the work he put in, but if in regards to just the money that you're investing or risking, shit, $15 on black, and then see what that runs. see if that ball roll on it.
Yeah, no, and 33, he warned us, in the beginning of the week that, the market was going to take a shit.
He did.
Absolutely.
He did.
You
He
know?
did. He said push up, and then we'll come down. So we put the high in the week. I know
Yeah.
it's kind of confusing because like during the overnights, they was like after I think Wednesday, Thursday, they were popping it up. But I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. So like one of the things that definitely when you're looking at these indices, right, is that I'll look at US 500 because that's what we look at the most. So, all right, number one, we were in a range forever, right? So, so each of these ranges, can y'all? Oh yeah, y'all watching the right screen. All right. So each of these ranges were about 25 points per day or less, right? I think maybe the biggest one was 38, right? Now some of that is because VIX was down, but that wasn't what we were trading before, right? We were trading big ranges. So it was basically going, I think this was like 30% of the average true range. This was like 30%, this was like 50%, this was like 40%, this was like 80%, right? So at some point, we're going to have a big move, right? And so if you look at it on an hourly standpoint, it kind of gave us the big move here, but it tricked people because it pulled back up. Well, all it did was pull back up to give people entry in, right? So right is 0.618, right? And it didn't go no further than that, right? And then boom, we dropped all the way down, right? And then with us dropping down, knocked down pretty much all these people who were short, right? And so now the only people who are left are these people here. But like I was saying earlier, right? So I expect us to come somewhere in here, at least, and then potentially pull back up to the range to come back down to start knocking out these if they want to bring us down. And and then 33 also gave a green light, live, and I'm not gonna repeat here, but today it might be time to, for us to come down. And so now what I'm looking at is, and this is something I look at separately, is that we're below and we're at the end of the month, so it's not really as important. But when we're where we are in relation to MPI of that month, and then and for the week, the Sunday and Tuesday, uh um certain like the Sunday Asian session and the Tuesday morning session, that kind of tells us where we're going to go, right? So now we're underneath February MPI. If we next week we stay below that and stay below the Sunday 18 to 19:30 and Tuesday 9:30 to 10:30, right? And I think that what we got February all week, then I'm expecting for the high to be put in the morning time and the low to start and the low to be put in the afternoon. So kind of similar to this, right? The high was put in the morning time. I was put in the morning time. Boom. Right. And the low put in at some. So we will see. But like 33 said, I'm expecting some type of bounce back into the range and then coming back down. Any questions? Anything that anybody wants to look at? Any tickers anybody want to look at while we're here?
So you guys have this thing bouncing back up a little bit and then just dropping again, huh?
Yeah, potentially. So right, I would love for them to either range us in this area, but I will want us to come back in here so that your puts that are dated are cheaper if we're going to come back down, right? So right now, those puts are a little bit more
More
expensive than what they would be up here, right? So let them get cheaper. Definitely, if you didn't get dated puts and you didn't get it up here, right? So you don't have the best entry, right? So get in, let it come back in, and then boom, take it back down.
Yeah.
But we have to be
ARS.
careful. Every time it came in this area here, we bounced up, right?
Yeah.
So, which I'm expecting some type of bounce. Now, if we cut through, then it tells me that they're trying to go after these people here. But again, then my next area would be here, right? Where we had our last bounce up.
Hey, a quick question.
Yep.
If you don't get the 805 print, will you just stay out of it for the day?
Yep, I do. So if I don't get that 805 print, right? If I don't see it, like if it's not, it needs to look like something, right? Because if you go back
Yeah.
here, let's go back. Because it used to show on Trading View on the 8 o'clock candle all the time. And they took it away. Trading View took it away. But
Oh,
like here,
so that's why you're on Webull because TradeView took it away?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Ah,
So
got you. Thank you for putting that out there. I didn't quite catch that.
yeah. So here, right, there's no real significant 805 candle. You could use this, but I wouldn't use it. I want a big print to kind of show me, right?
Right.
And so you'll notice here, 805 not really showing anything, right?
And it works to the upside, I'm assuming as well, right?
Yeah, of course. Yep, it works for upside and downside. Right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's 835. Don't want that one. Let's see.
So will you go and just try to find who printed that 805 print and then trade that for the day? Say if it's Tesla or Meta or
Yep, yep. So Tesla,
Microsoft.
Meta, Microsoft, and the indices are the ones that I go after the first.
Right. Indices the cash cow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what you can do is definitely if you're trading like Meta, right, or Microsoft, and even Tesla, right, kind of go in the direction that the market is going in. So if they all print right, say if all these big ones print and they all go in the same direction, there, right? So here's a good one, right? 805. This is a decent one, decent size. Boom.
Yep.
It never even came back in here, right? And you just walked it up. 14
Dude,
points, right?
that's rad. Good stuff, RS. Thank you.
Here's another one, right? Never even came back into it, right? Now you
No,
got
I
to be
got
careful sometimes, right? If we say, for instance, and this is a good example, right? So say for instance we open way above it, right? Sometimes what you'll see is that it'll close below, it'll start coming down into it. You want to make sure if we close high above it, you want to make sure we at least knock out this top candle here. Does that make sense?
no.
So,
Say
all
it
right.
again.
Okay, so let me move some of these other ones. So if you have a situation where the print is way above or way if the opening price is way above or way below where this candle is here, you
Right.
want to make sure that it actually takes out the high or takes out the low of that first print.
Okay.
So the other ones, right? We were kind of close to where the print were, right? This one you're not really close. You're about $5 away from it, right?
Right.
So what can happen is it could come back down into here and then go back up. But you may not want to be in that much drawdown, right? So you want to make sure the momentum is continuing. So you want to make sure it takes out that high of that candle.
Right. I got you.
And
Yep.
then it's on the opposite side, right? So like here, right, we open up close to the candle, so you don't have much drawdown. We close above, so you just took 416 to 422 in like 10 minutes.
Right.
So I don't know what 114 was, but that's a pretty good move, pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
So I'll leave it here. Right? And so that's why I say like some days it works for the full day, like you can hold for the full day. But if it's me, right, I'm only looking for $3 to $4 on that move, especially if it's not on a Friday, right? Or even if it was on a Friday, I know that Tesla moves $6 or $7, right? Per day. We'll just throw that out there as a like a Yes, I don't know what the average true range is, but say if it's $6 or $7. If I get this $3 move, or in this point $7 move, I'm taking my profit here, right, and call it a day. Because what happens is we came back down, and now we start going to the downside, right? So you could play to the downside too, right?
No, I see that. That's super smart. You gotta sell into strength. Take your profit.
Exactly.
Yep, dude, I love
And
it.
so
Thank you for that.
no problem. So yeah, it works both ways, right? And I don't really pay attention too much to the color of the candle. I just use the high and the low, right? So even here, right, we open inside of this candle, right? And we close above, we come back in, and then we end up going almost what, $10, right? $13 actually, right? So, and now you can, it's up to you to manage your own risk, right? So you can either you can get in at the 50% level. You can mark out the 50% level and get in on those, right? You can get in on the first 5 minute close. You can put your stop at the below of here. You can put your stop at the 50% mark and just re-enter, right? It's totally up to you. But how I do it is I typically, right, as soon as we get a 5 minute close above, of whatever this, wherever our high and low are, take that trade. So here, right, this probably would have been a losing day for me, but I'm fine with that because as you see, all the other days were winning days, right? I'll lose that $500 if I know that the other days I'm making $1,500. You know what I mean? And definitely when it's Tesla, I think is like I said, Tesla's one of the better performing ones at 92%, right? Moving at least $4.37 each move, right? So yeah, you see like no real candle print here, winter green. So I'm not even looking forward on this type of situation.
I like that rule a lot. That helps. That helps a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
And definitely,
Today,
like I said, definitely if you're struggling to understand concepts and stuff like that, or you're like when you're what's the best way to say it? Like your like confidence is a little low because you've taken some, losing trades. It's a real mechanical, systematic approach to just taking, you know what I mean? Just marking it at that quick level, taking it, going about your day, right? Get some wins underneath your belt. But I'm trying to think what else. That's pretty much it. For like option or for I don't know if anybody in here is future traders, but for futures, oh no, that's not what I want. Easy. So, of course, you guys know I focus a little bit more on the future side, and I let the other guys handle the option side for the most part. So I'm gonna be focused, like my main focus is always NQ. I'm gonna kind of give more focus on gold and oil, uh, and start trading those a little bit more. And so I'll kind of give a little bit more insight on like how I trade them. Typically, for gold and for oil, typically I trade them directional. Once about 8 o'clock starts, right? And then, but overnight I trade range. So if you'll notice, right, typically the nighttime will range, right? And then we'll make our move. This was the day we just ranged, but here we ranged, made our move, right? I've ranged this whole day, kind of made the move. And, you'll notice right here, ranged, made our move. So typically what you'll notice at about around 8 o'clock, gold will start making this move to trend. Here you go. Boom. Right. So, and then oil kind of the same way. Uh, so I'll kind of be focusing on those platinum levels on those and putting those in the RS futures tab. But I think that's everything. If no one has any questions, this will be recorded. Uh, but thank everybody who jumped in today. And then, thank you, Winter Green, for your questions. OG, of course. I don't know if you left yet, but if y'all have any other questions, just let me know.
Thank you, RS, for being on and giving us all this winning information, brother. You're amazing. Thank you. Appreciate you.
No problem. No problem.
So does the 805 print work on futures as well?
No. So I don't
No.
trade. I don't use it for futures.
Right.
Just the Mag 7.
Cool. I love it. That's
Just
great.
Mag 7. I mean, you got SPY and QQQ, so those are just the indexes, the ETFs of futures. So those are usable, right? But you won't see it, and because I don't even think Weeble does do futures, but let me see. Yeah, I don't even know what their futures name on here is. I don't think I've ever traded futures on. I've never traded futures on Weeble. I know they have it, but yeah.
What platform are you trading futures on?
So I use NinjaTrader.
NinjaTrader?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So I use NinjaTrader, and then for the most part, NinjaTrader.
Is that the best one for futures, NinjaTrader?
No, I wouldn't say it's the best one. I just separated it. So I have an account with Fidelity, and I can trade futures on Fidelity, and I got an account with Thinkorswim, or I guess TD it's a Charles Schwab. But I try to separate my futures account from like my investment account, just so I don't, I try to keep myself on a specific count size that I can trade with futures, just because you can kind of get a little wild with futures. But
Right.
I think NinjaTrader is cool. Amp futures is cool. It just kind of depends on like what you're looking for. NinjaTrader was just the first one I jumped on, so I just never left it. To be honest with you, that's just being honest.
Wait, if it works, right?
Exactly. So I don't have any issue with it.
Cool. Dude, I'm gonna try playing around with some of this GC1 and CL1 that you put out. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely put out what I'm seeing, and so you guys have it, and go from there.
All right. I appreciate that. Let's do it. I'll do my best to follow along.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Thank you. Have a great Saturday.
No problem. Y'all do the same.